Okay, let's see. Testing. Let me test this. Hi, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I'm going to test it, make sure. Am I on? Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah. Testing. Okay. It's working. Hi, everybody. This is day 1,616 days since Richard was premeditatedly murdered on Fort Bliss. He was forcibly removed from his barracks and then murdered. And it was premeditated. And they disrespected his body, which is also a crime, because he was dismembered. And, there's so many similarities because of the arms room, and with Vanessa Guillen in the arms room, she's dismembered, Richard's dismembered, and they also fall under the same general, Forcecom General Michael Garrett. So, there's even more similarities than even that. And, um, that raises a lot of red flags, doesn't it? Doesn't it? And there's, don't forget, you have others that lost their lives, and other families that want answers. Um, and we have been told this last week that the new name for Fort Bliss is Death Camp, that it is a death camp, that Fort Bliss is a death camp. And, which is really shocking. It goes right to your, whew, it takes your breath away when you think of the severity of that, and being told that during Christmas, when you have the other side. So you have this very deep pain knowing what's happening on our military installations, that it's so bad that Fort Bliss is called a death camp. And then you have this hope of Christmas where it is so awe-inspiring when you think about it, when you try to wrap your head around that God is incarnate, right? God became incarnate, and you just fall on your knees, and you're just, through all the odds, um, there was a will for that, and nothing could stop it. God's will was for that child, that little baby Jesus, and nothing could stop the birth, right? The life, everything was exactly how God ordained it to be. And it's, when you think of God becoming flesh in such a very vulnerable state, such a dependent state. You don't want to leave a child unaccompanied, because the child cannot survive. And as they grow older, there's more of a chance that they can handle it. But you don't want, you had uh, these parties, these big parties, and these big times in life. And in our home, we call it confirmation, right? We call it confirmation. It is a sacrament where you become an adult, right? You become where you can, uh, take responsibility. You enter in responsibility. And even that, you need these mentors. You can't be left unaccounted for. You're still young, right? Um, And then you have the parties when you're 15, the coming out parties, right? Because people know that before then, and even after then, that you need to have a family. You need to have someone that you can depend on, that will have your six, that will take, I don't want to say take care of you, but uh, accompany you, right? And mentor you. And of course, parents will say, "What do you mean take care? We have to take care. We have to feed them. We have to do that." But if they had to do it on their own, at what age could they do it on their own, right? If they had to. So, this whole thing with unaccompanied children, um, I don't think that those hundreds of thousands of children that were unaccompanied were willingly on their own. I think they were taken. They were taken and either sold, taken. They they were taken, y'all. And they were trafficked. And they were trafficked through our country and through our military installations. And with government funding, with our money, they were trafficked and now they're mostly dead. What do you call that on Fort Bliss? If and and then if you have a soldier like Richard that calls it out, that calls out the trafficking, that they forcibly, well, they retaliate and then they forcibly remove him and then they murder him. You call that a death camp. That's what you call Fort Bliss. You call it a death camp. And it's just heartbreaking because you can't say, at least we can't in our family, and anyone that looks at the evidence can't say no, it doesn't qualify as a death camp. It really does. It really does, and it's on our land. And I was reading through General Kelly. He's a Marine general that was, uh, you know, uh, really high up in politics, and but he had lost his son. He's a Gold Star father, and he was known for this speech that was just awe-inspiring about American youth, and about Americans wanting to go into the dark places and the most dangerous places to hunt down to hunt down the evil, and kill the evil. That's what he said. Those aren't my words. That's what he said. And but what if it's right there in one of our military installations? And and this was brewing under his command. This was brewing. This is absolutely full on underneath Garrett's command. Um, and so they have a lot to answer. And I think they need to be held accountable for what they've done to our military installations, because it's not an accident that our military installation becomes a death camp. Let's say it's not a death camp. Let's say it's like a death camp. Let's say there's a real question there if it qualifies for a death camp, because it really surely seems like it qualifies for a death camp. If you have hundreds of thousands of unaccompanied, taken children that are now mostly dead, and that anybody that calls that out, like Richard, a hero, and like Glennon Oakley Jr., also a hero, and then they're no more alive. They're not alive. And all it is like a cover up, and not a full on accountability, accounting of hundreds of thousands and our volunteer soldiers losing their lives on our land and on our military installation, and there's not a full accounting. And now we hear that the real law is coming in with the border czar, and the real law, we've been told, is going to fire a bunch of generals. And then whatever happens after that firing is going to be interesting too, because we're hearing that the real law is calling for the death penalty. The death penalty. And, when you are allowing and forming a military installation that becomes a death camp, and you have all those lives that have been lost because of your actions and inactions and forming and whatever they're doing, the trafficking, the LLCs, the contracts, then that is being a traitor. That is treason. That is putting our whole country at risk. Not even putting it at risk. You're a detriment to your country. You are a traitor. You're treasonous to your country when you are forming what has been entrusted to you into a death camp. And so this is can be all corroborated with these restricted areas, and we've gotten more and more feedback about McGregor A, combat training zone McGregor A. More and more information about that. We've gotten more and more information about the connections with General Garrett. More and more is coming out about the connections with General Garrett and Fort Bliss. With, of course, Richard's case is a murder case on Fort Bliss that's connected with the Walmart mass shooting case. Those are intertwined. So if you're at all involved with Richard's case, you most likely, well, you're implicated in the Walmart mass shooting case, because they're all working together because of the whole circumstances of the timeline. And the hiding of the whistleblower report, the tampering. There's so much tampering, and we see that with Bill Hicks. We've been telling everyone I put out memes, and we've been telling everyone he's a tamperer. He is a tamperer. He tampered with the timestamps. He is a usurper. And now so many other lives have been hurt, as we've heard from Kelly Childress, a public defender, that gave a good interview in the news, calling out Bill Hicks, calling out the 34th Judicial District Attorney's Office for their misconduct, for withholding evidence. And some of the evidence, they're saying that it's exculpatory. So some of these defendants that were totally innocent, that's what that means, had to plead differently because the evidence was withheld. Messing with people's lives like that. That office is messing with people's lives. Bill Hicks is messing with people's lives. And then they gnash their teeth when you call them out. How dare you call me out? Well, what are you talking about? We have hundreds of thousands of taken children that they call unaccompanied, and they traffic them, and now they're mostly dead. And and you're gnashing your teeth because you can't align your pocket with fraudulent activity. Um, you're not even legal. You're a fraud. You're a usurper. You're an impersonator. And you're cashing in, which is also illegal, by staying in an office that he's usurped and taken the money when he's not even legally installed. That's a crime. That's a total crime. And then you have Joe Spencer, who, my goodness, if that's your defense attorney, who needs a prosecutor? I mean, he sells you out for 90 life sentences. What is that? 9,000 years? 9,000 years in the Alcatraz of the Rockies, and not even mentioning, not even defending his client, not even defending his client, saying, look, Patrick Crucius absolutely does not have the ability to even do this crime like the narrative says. He is Look, we've got evidence. He's pretty handicapped. It takes some skills to load a rifle to do what they say he did. It takes some planning to do that. And there is no way he could have done that on his own, done what they said. And he surrendered himself. Twice. Twice we're hearing he surrendered himself twice. No, go away, Patrick. It's not time yet. Oh, okay, okay, I'll come back. And to a Hispanic law enforcement officer, and totally clean shoes. You know, what Ernest Christopher Grant was saying in the news, and he was the sweetheart for the news. Everybody wanted to report on what Ernest Christopher Grant said, and what he said was absolutely despicable. Despicable. And there's no evidence for it, and they had to call him out. They had to call him out, and then he was arrested by Secret Service, and his mama, what is her name? Minnie Scott Grant, and his mama had to take this. And she was just smiling and happy. Her son was just arrested by Secret Service. She was smiling, just happy, happy as can be. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. And when Patrick Crucius walked up with that clean shirt, that photo of him with the clean shoes and the clean pants and the clean shirt, after reading what is out there that Ernest Christopher Grant said, it's like, no way. And then receiving Team Fire Richard Halliday, receiving Joe Spencer's audio tapes, absolutely confessing in them that none of this, the whole narrative was absolutely what we call in German Schrott. Schrott. I love that word. It's so powerful, and it means, Schrott is a leftover metal, right? It's a useless metal when you're making something, right? It's kind of like the sawdust of metal, right? And it's just Schrott. You can't use it. It's brittle. It's breaking. It's nothing. The whole narrative was Schrott. Garbage. And they peddled it. The media peddled it, perpetuated it, so that the truth could be covered up. You have 23 dead, 23 injured. probably more. Can you imagine the mental injury? The mental injury that all of that, that I mean, Joe Spencer confessed that his client was not a racist, was not white supremacist. In these audios, we've turned it all in. It's it was so like, what? What kind of man is Joe Spencer? He is not fit to be in law. He's fit to be in those orange suits that he paraded his client in, with chains, with a bulletproof vest. That's what he's fit to be in. And the same thing with Bill Hicks. I mean, they schemed. They schemed to remove and replace a duly elected district attorney, Yvonne Rosales. That's so illegal. To tamper with an election, it's so illegal. To, you know, it's like, why are they protecting all the trafficking? Why aren't they reporting on the trafficking? Why aren't they why is Joe Spencer not defending his client about that there was no way that he could do what they were saying that he did? Like, why wasn't he honest about Patrick Crusius's application for counsel, that the taxpayers have to pay millions of dollars to pay Joe Spencer, to defend Patrick Crusius, and they're not told that it's going to go on for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Millions of dollars. Why doesn't he say, my client was working. My client is from an affluent family. My client, you know, approximately $70 to $100,000 a year cost for him with this apartment that he had, with his car, with his computer services, right? To upload that manifesto, you had to have some kind of service. Who uploaded that manifesto? Who did the time? If he surrendered twice and the first time they sent him away, how did he have time to upload the manifesto? What was did he do it right before? Did he do it right before? When you're all, can you imagine? He was full of hate, they said. Really? And then he goes, oh, you don't want me to surrender right now? Okay, I'll come back later, a little bit later, a few minutes later, when all the time is right. I mean, and yeah, hi, here I am. I'm the one. That's what they told me to tell you, because I have a severe mental health condition. I'm, you know, self-hurting autistic. So when I was 3, I was banging my head on the concrete. So says uh, the witnesses that Loretta Lynn Hewitt interviewed. Everyone knew that he was in special ed. Everyone knew that he could be influenced very, very easily. Why didn't Joe Spencer say all this to the people? Why did he keep it from us? Why did Bill Hicks keep it from us? Why did they allow Jaime Esparza, who is the AG for the Western District of Texas, to sit on the case for 2 years when he had a huge conflict of interest because it was personal to him, quote unquote? It's personal to me, quote unquote, because his sister was there at the Walmart. I mean, day in and day out, we are researching all of this. And you just find a a criminal offense after criminal offense after criminal offense. And, come on, law enforcement officers. It's so easy. Take your pick of the criminal offenses. There's so many. You're going to have to order extra handcuffs. You're going to have to order extra. You want to fill up, well, they're full, but you want to fill up these prisons. You want to use those orange suits. Take your pick. There's so many, from Joe Spencer to Sam Madrano, the judge, Sam Madrano, the judge. And, it's like, okay, so what is going on? Is there an infiltration of the El Paso cartel into the Commission on Judicial Conduct? Is there um, a I don't know, El Paso cartel in the state bar? Is there a El Paso cartel in the Texas Rangers? Is there an El Paso cartel there in the El Paso um, criminal law magistrate court? Is there, I mean, come on, is there El Paso cartel in the El Paso Police Department? What about the sheriffs? What about the sheriffs? Because let me tell you, there's one criminal offense after the other. It's so easy. Look, with Leilani Hart, you have it made. Because whether or not, or whether she did or whether they didn't or whatever, she's committed so many criminal offenses that on each side of the coin, she needs to be arrested. On each side of the coin, because she confessed under a sworn affidavit. We called the notary. And she swore that her son, her family was engaged in incest. This is while he's in uniform. This is what she swore to. A 7-year-old being the worst kind of assault, like in their sex cult minds, the worst kind of assault of a 7-year-old by multiple members of her household in her master bedroom. How, you think I made that up? That's in that confession. And she didn't even timely report. Matter of fact, she set that up because she allowed her friend that she was going out with to, oh, just keep your children with my family. With my family that are engaged in incest, that are engaged in child pornography, that are engaged in illegal weapons purchasing, that have threatened my life with these weapons. Just keep your kids there. What? She facilitated it. And then she didn't report it. And then the FBI, oh, well, I called the husband up. I said, "Oh, you're clear." What does that mean? He's clear. That means she lied? Under oath? Under a notary? Under a sworn affidavit? To the FBI? You mean the FBI have been lied to with a sworn affidavit? And they're just going like, "Oh yeah, okay, whatever." What? You have to arrest her either way because she implicated herself in that with the child corn. She implicated herself by not timely reporting these criminal activities. And she did it right at the time that my Richard, the El Paso, the Fort Bliss whistleblower soldier, was murdered. Now, that's not a coincidence, especially since she has been reported as tampering with Richard's file, given access by CID to Vita Nusa, tampering with Richard's file, and is the confirmed convicted criminal that she is, with this huge record, and also the mother of Richard's platoon leader and the prime suspect. The prime suspect, because Tavita Nusa confessed to hurting Richard. So, um, so much. There's so much. I just didn't even touch on Adal Baim. But Lalani Hart, have your pick. It's one crime after the next. I mean, assault on Fort Bliss. Um, you know, Hart Childcare, the LLCs for uh, the other connections, all the LLCs for the other connections, from real estate to other other sales and contracts. Um, yeah, take your pick. There's so many reasons to arrest Lalani Hart. So, and then we haven't even touched on the something that we've been investigating for a while, and that's the Santa Teresa International Jetport Airport. Because Richard was assigned Ray Velarde as an attorney, the same attorney that is the attorney for El Mayo Zapata. Now, where's the story on that? That's a huge story. Because Richard was retaliated against, framed, and the individual that was framing him is a family member of Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, right? From the Walmart mass shooting case from 3905 Bliss Avenue. And the other family member, Danae Katzen, is a fugitive right now on the El Paso Most Wanted list, and targeted before and after targeted Richard, targeted our family. So, and then you have another family member that Marlon Soto confirmed to us that, Belen Rocha, was in that the oldest business in the world, right? The oldest business in the world. And targeting us, targeting our family, targeting Richard. And it goes on with Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia's family, who was illegally tampering with birth certificates, tampering with um, other documents to get benefits, from the El Paso Community Foundation. Walmart mass shooting victims fund. That fund was huge, over $12 million. It was candy in the eyes of Rosa Maria that she would risk tampering with documents, lying, being an imposter because she was pretending to be a widow, and but yet her family was targeting Richard. And don't forget Danae Katzon's husband, also in Richard's chain of command, also connected to 143. If not in the chain of command in 143. It is, you know, a story after a story after a story after a story, to be investigated, to absolutely be investigated. And our investigation has taken us to Michael Garrett, has taken us to family members, that are up to no good and absolutely connected to Richard's case. Why would Richard's four-star general betray, betray, betray America? Because Richard is a United States Army soldier. You do something to a soldier, you're doing something to the United States. And, it, it is just one heartbreaking, when you're a patriot and you see that these people are exploiting their positions or abusing their positions to the point where they don't give a care about the soldiers that are under their trust, under their care. It's heartbreaking because it's under his command that Vanessa Guillen happened, under his command that Richard Halliday happened. And they were both whistleblowers, both reporting. Does Michael Garrett not like to protect whistleblowers? I thought he's all about veterans. Um, yeah, he has a lot of explaining to do. I think he can explain to a Gold Star family. I think he owes it to a Gold Star family to explain his failure. Because from where we are, from what we have experienced and what we have seen and what we know, it it looks like he has committed treason and is a traitor. That's what it looks like to us. And so to hear President Trump um, say that the real law is coming, real justice is coming, and that the border czar is coming is like fresh air, opening up a window and getting fresh air because Bliss being a death camp cannot be tolerated, cannot be allowed. And right now, It definitely could be called a death camp. And, we were hearing also that there are rumors that it will be shut down. If they can't get it back to esprit de corps, to the Medal of Honor ethos, they need to shut it down. It cannot be tolerated as a death camp and as a ground for criminal trafficking, a staging ground for criminal trafficking, to use Americans' weapons, Americans' bullets, Americans' soldiers, Americans' vehicles, Americans' tactical move storage unit, Americans' fuel to stage there to uh, conduct their criminal trafficking. Cannot be tolerated. It better be shut down if they can't make America great again. If they can't get that esprit de corps, if they can't get law and order, if they can't get discipline, they need to shut it down. So that's our feelings. We have a lot going on right now behind the scenes. And, it's, I came on very late. I'm very sorry that, but, we were on a roll doing these um, music videos. I hope that you take the time to watch them. I hope you share them. Also, it's still Christmas. It's still Christmas, the 12 days of Christmas. So, we have our Christmas activities that we, our worship. Today is St. John's. Yesterday was St. Stephen's. Um, this is a high holy time for us. Um, you know, and knowing Anglicans, if you know the Anglican faith, Christmas doesn't start until the 25th for us, right? It doesn't start until, the night of the 24th, because that's Advent. And clearly, and you can look at our whole history. We've always celebrated Advent. We have always posted our Advent wreath, which is a very penitent time, where you reflect and you prepare and make the way for this amazing miracle of Christmas, this jaw dropping event with an amazing star, hosts of angels, um, shepherds as witnesses. It's incarnate from a virgin birth. I mean, it's jaw dropping. There's nothing like it. And to have the gifts that were given and their meaning, and Herod hunting down the baby Jesus, and um, fleeing to Egypt. It's just absolutely a miraculous time. There was a will for that child, and that will was God's will, because that child was incarnate, God incarnate. And it's just amazing time. And this is the 12 days of Christmas. We are just starting. We're at the beginning of our Christmas festival in the Halliday household. Our cookies are made. Our gifts are still under the tree. Some of them are still under the tree because it's not over yet. And our lights are up. Um, and we're still celebrating. So, uh, and I hope that everyone took time out to do that. because what would the world be? How dark it would be. And there is no mistake that God would come at a very dark time, right when it starts to get light. From here on out, it's going to get lighter and lighter and lighter every day. And, those are signs from God. And it's just a beautiful time. And we hope that everyone can enjoy it. It's sad for us to see um, Richard stalking. There's, Richard's tree. He loved Christmas. He loved Christmas so much that when he lived in the very undisciplined, drunken, drug infested, um, bringing in the young girls, um, not a place you'd want to live, right? And in the regulations, it says it needs to be a place you'd want to live. No, you wouldn't want to live there, but he made the best out of it. He bought a Christmas tree, bought decorations, he bought lights. He loved Christmas. And yeah, it's can be very sad. And when I'm making these videos and I see his face, um, but I know, I believe in angels, and I believe in the resurrection, right? I believe in the resurrection. So there is that comfort, and the word comfort means forte, right? A forte like in music, where you get stronger, right? Comfort means to get stronger. And so Richard has made us stronger. God's hand has been all over this to make us stronger. And I remember Mother's Day, you feel sad on Mother's Day a little bit, little bit. Um, and there we received um, the screenshots, right? The screenshots connecting um, real evidence with with General Garrett, with General Garrett. And I need to mention Clem Coward. I need to mention McConville. I need to mention Mealy. I need to mention Donna Martin. I need to mention these other failed leaders. But the real law is coming. MAGA is here. The border czar is coming. And that is a comfort. That is not a lackadaisy, a strengthening comfort. And so, yeah, I hope you watch those videos, and I hope you share them. Please share them, and I'll share as much information as I can, um, as transparent every day. If you have questions, just text, just, comment, and we will try our best to answer those questions. Thank you so much. God bless you.